culture sharing is on the renminbi, which is the Chinese currency. Just gonna go over some of the history of it. I was kind of confused and interested in this because people in the stock market always talk about how China's blocking the United States economy and stuff like that, and I never understood why. But this, I kind of understand a little bit now how it works. But after the Chinese Civil War, the People's Bank of China in 1948 tried to get a unified system of currency, and that's what kind of gave birth to it. It was officially named the renminbi in 1949, and it's their official currency from 1948 to present day. They had some issues with exchange. They had a block on, it could only be used domestically in China. It's like if you wanted to get renminbi, you had to buy these exchange tickets, which were really highly, I guess, taxed. It was a lot. It wouldn't exchange straight over and stuff like that, which made it difficult. But they're moving away from that kind of stuff. Here I've got a bunch of the yuan, which is a denomination of it. So this is just the fronts and the backs, and most of these are from 2005. I think there's one from 99 up there. But these are the newer editions, which I have. My sister's boyfriend, her dad, his dad, works for Orwell Corning or something. They do insulation, and he goes to China 5 or 6 times out of the month. You guys pass this around. He actually brought me back Chinese money. I've only talked to him twice, and the last time I talked to him, he said, "I got something for you," and he gave me some Chinese money. I thought it was awesome. I got that before I came here, but it really sparked some interest in all this. But that's a 10 and a 5, I think, the two that I have that you gave me. And I thought it was a big deal because I thought it was, you'll see in a minute why it's not a big deal. I thought a 10 and a, 1 and a 5 or a 10 and a 5 were significant amounts, but it's not quite that. And those are the coins over there, and that's 1/10 of one of the bills, and 2/10 of the one of the bills, and then 5/10. So here's a kind of the denominations, the conversion over to a rough what it's worth in America. So the coins, the silver coins back here are the 1, 2, and 5, and those are worth 2 cents, 3 cents, and 8 cents. And the dollar's worth about 16 cents. Well, they're 1 yuan is worth about 16 cents, and then the 2 is worth about 33 cents, and then it kind of goes up toward there. But the 100, which is the biggest bill I could research and figure out that existed, is only worth about 16 and a quarter dollars. But I'll get on to why it's kind of lower. But China's been working on the internationalization of their money so that it can become more free trade-y type, and they're moving away from the fixed peg rate that it usually is at. And it kind of accelerated in 2009 is when they started to kind of go gung-ho on it. As of 2014, 1.47% of the world's payments was settled in renminbi, which is 7th most traded currency in the world, which is kind of a big deal since it's only been recently that they've been trying to convert it over to being more international. This is just a graph that kind of shows, this was before they started doing the more recent stuff, but this is, they moved from that peg, which it was at whatever rate, below 840, and it dropped kind of lower toward this, and then they kind of went back to the peg, and there's kind of some fear from that. I don't know if it's fear, just it's smart what they did with the peg, what the Chinese government did with the peg. It's very, very smart economically, but they're afraid that making it too free market's China's not going to be able to handle, the economy's not going to be able to handle the revaluing of the renminbi. But this is kind of shows after the appreciation, they did a little bit of reform in 2010 and 2005, and 2005 is the red one, and that just shows that it went up pretty gradually And then the 2010, it went up pretty significantly. And this is kind of what they're afraid of, is it going, what was explained as like hot money, which is, they kind of peg the rates so that to make a product, it costs a certain amount of money. So if it costs like $10 here, our dollar value fluctuates so that $10 could be worth less or more in any given day. So it can either cost you more or less to make the same product, whereas in China you can make that product on a fixed rate for a certain amount of money no matter what. So because ours is free trade, it's a lot more depending on what the dollar is worth. So sometimes you could be making the same thing, and it seems like you're making it for the same amount, but you're not, because the dollar's not actually worth the same amount all the time. So this really gave them a really competitive edge in the global economy, but it's kind of, they're moving away from it because they want it to, there's a lot of benefits of it being a free trade system, so they're moving kind of towards that, but it explained that they have kind of a fear of the hot money thing. They don't want it to get out of control, which is understandable because our US dollar has fallen below the euro recently, which is something that hasn't happened in a long time. So it's definitely susceptible to the economy of the nation, you know, how that's going to affect. It can, you know, screw us like it did America. So they see that and kind of know that there's some bad comings with the whole free market thing. But it's convertible into current accounts, but not capital accounts. This is a really complicated thing that I don't really understand very much about. But current accounts is like kind of like the bond system that we have with China, where we buy bonds and stuff like that. It's convertible and usable in that sense with current things, but the capital accounts, like the private accounts and financial accounts of the government, it isn't convertible into, and that's kind of, I'm kind of not really understand a whole lot about that, but it's not completely convertible, which is kind of what they're going for. But they're moving toward full conversion so that it can be, which will help them. The full conversion will be, and they're hoping to kind of release the bounds that are kind of narrowed right now, because it can fluctuate, but it won't be within the bounds that they've set. So they're kind of trying to figure out how to do it correctly. And that's kind of a scary thing. I can understand why, after researching it, why you don't just dive into releasing it, you know, letting it be free trade. So I can kind of get it. But that's all I've got about Redmond B. Does anybody have any questions? What?
Could you please go ahead with a picture of the one?
Go back to it?
Yeah.
I don't have like the $2 bill on there.
Do you know what the symbols on the coins are?
I don't know. Personally.
You mean the scenery?
No, that and the symbols on the coin.
Like,
The characters on the coins.
like these over here?